Kutafuta uongozi kwa kutumia dini au kutumia kabila unagawa watu. Kazi ya uongozi ni kujenga watu wawe kitu kimoja. Watu wanaanza kuzungumzia udini. Watu wazungumza mambo ya udini sasa. Hatujali dini ya mtu, anaijua mwenyewe dini yake basi. Dini ni kitu nini? Tunataka kujua umri wa watu. Tunataka kujua kama watu wanajua kusoma na kuandika. Hiyo ina maana tunataka kuuliza mambo ambayo serikali inayataka. Kama maimamu wanataka kuuliza, wanataka kujua Waislamu wangapi, watafute wao. Hivi na nini? Kama maaskofu wanataka kujua wanawatumishi wangapi, watafute wao. Ndio wanakuja makanisani kuungama. Watu wa Kenya walikuwa wanajuana kwa makabila yao. Huyu Mkikuyu, huyu Mjaluo, huyu Mluhya. Na wanatajana kwa makabila yao. Watu wa Tanzania walikuwa kabisa hatujui makabila yao.
Nyerere himself, Mwalimu as he was famously known. Where did he come from? He is of peasant origins from the Butiama area near the lake, northwest or to the north of near the lake of Nyanza, Victoria. His father was the chief of the Zanaki tribe, as people prefer to call it now, ethnic group. Burrito Nyerere. Nyerere Burrito, that was his father's name. So now, his education and his brain was working from a very early age, even before school. He was known as the local champion of bao. Bao is a game that's played on a board with holes in it and marbles or stones. Equivalent to a chess game, but this is more intricate, I think, from our origins. It's played all over Africa. By the age of 10, 12, he was already the champion in his own region. So that gives you some kind of indication of how brainy this young man was. Primary school he sailed through. He went to Tabora Secondary School, which was a church school, where he qualified greatly in Kiswahili and history. And he moved off after that to Makerere University, where he started all sorts of associations. Tanzanian Welfare, African Welfare Association, Tanzanian African Association, Tanzanian Students Association. So Nyerere was busy every minute of the day. Wherever he was thinking about Tanzania. This is where his humble and simplicity trend came from as a leader later on, and as a person continued to his death. Now, he loved the land, he tilled the land, and all his politics were based on the land. This is what we have to understand Nyerere from. Everything he did was for the welfare of his people. So, after Makerere, he came back and taught in his old school at Tabora, and then that's where the Mwalimu name comes from, or the teacher. From then, he went to do his master's, and then went to Scotland, Edinburgh, to do his master's, to finish his master's in history. From then, he came back to Tanzania. So all this time, he's forming associations and looking after his people. Then, in the 1940s, after World War II, he started sort of playing with politics, as welfare leads to politics. Anything social leads to politics. And that's where his party and his beginnings of political life began. So in the mid-50s, he's already thinking about independence and self-determination. So he forms TANU, which is Tanzania African National Union. This he sells to his people all across. And I mean, he went the breadth and length of Tanzania, or Tanganyika as it was then, teaching and showing his people the self-determination vision that he had. This was very welcomed, and by the advent of independence in 1961, the country and the people were well behind this young man, because he was only young, one of the youngest leaders we had. So his welcoming attitude and his play with politics brought him to the fore. Other world leaders started noticing him because he was a force to beckon with. When offered independence, Kenya was on the verge of independence, and so was Uganda. As a Pan-Africanist, a very, very staunch Pan-Africanist, he asked Kenyatta and Obote, his friends, if he could stay his independence so that they could become independent as one unit. That portrays how much of a Pan-Africanist he was. And this is where Mwalimu became a force to be reckoned with. He then looked around Tanzania to see how well to perform, how to develop the country into a force on itself. And then he combined with Zanzibar to form Tanzania, the Republic of Tanzania.